Hi folks, Mr. Dell here. This time we are looking at, this is CC3, CPM, Course 3. These are the closure exercises, the closure activities, and looking at 3-123. All right, so I'll read this and then we'll come up with the solution. So Raphael had 5 hits in 7 bats. If he continues this pattern, how many hits will he have in 210 at-bats? So what I have is I have a situation I can set up. That first sentence right there is setting up for a ratio, right? So Raphael, had 5, I'm going to set my ratio up, 5 hits for every 7 at-bats, right? So this is my ratio of information, my ratio of 5 hits for 7 at-bats. So what I now want to know, though, is if I can extend this ratio into a proportion, because the pattern continues, right? The pattern continues. So that tells me that this ratio is true for a continued pattern. So if I look at 210 at-bats, I'm going to put that number down here because that's where the at-bats are. I'm going to set up my proportion. So I have 5 hits, 7 at-bats. I want to know how many hits for 210 at-bats. So here's my situation. I have that ratio is equal to this ratio with an unknown value is what we call a proportion. Okay, this is proportional. So what I can do is I can set this up as an equation that I can solve. Okay, there's a couple ways I can see this being solved. One way is when we solve proportions, we use cross multiplying, right? We can see this as 7x is equal to 1050 if I multiply 5 times 2, 10, and 7 times x. And then just solving, there we go. Then just solving for x, I would then divide both sides by 7. And I get x is equal to, when I divide by 7, it looks like I'm going to have 1 and 50, 150. Okay, so that's one way of looking at it, solving for x. But what I want to do is I also want to point out, if I rewrote this, I want to see if you can see this pattern as well too. If I want this to become something as 210, right? If I have a proportion set up here, and I can see that 7 to get to 210, it's like using the properties of fractions. I can multiply by a giant 1, and the giant 1 be 30 over 30. Right? If I multiply by 30 over 30, 30 over 30, 30 times 7 is 210, so 5 times 30 is 150. So multiplying by a giant 1, I'd still get that same answer. So the final answer right up here would be 150 hits. Okay, there you go.